The Bajaj Pulsar NS400Z. It didn't really set the sales starts on fire the moment it came, probably because it was a bit late to the party, probably because KTM had already established and normalized the 400cc segment. But people soon realized that like the rest of the Pulsars, even the 400Z is a lot of bang for the buck. It's a lot of motorcycle for the money. That's something that people started appreciating. But honestly, I think KTM did steal a bit of the thunder away from the Pulsar. The delay in launching the Pulsar 400Z did really hamper its sales. It probably could have done a lot better. It could have had a much better start had it come maybe half a decade earlier. So Bajaj clearly realized that, so they thought it was time to give the Pulsar a few more things. In fact, they also listened to a few complaints that we had as media, as customers with the 400Z. So it's all come together now to make this the 2025 Pulsar. But is it all enough to justify that 8 to 10,000 rupee premium that you will pay for this motorcycle over the outgoing bike? That's exactly what we are here to find out. The core of the NS400Z remains the same proven 373cc single-cylinder engine, but it now pushes out 43 PS, up from the earlier 40 PS and closer to the KTM territory. Additional 3 PS may not sound like earth-shattering numbers, but more power is always good. Some of you will have a lot of fun fighting spec sheet wars, while most of you will appreciate the better rideability and the performance enhancements it brings to your everyday riding. Acceleration feels livelier now, and Bajaj claims it's over a second quicker to the ton than the earlier 40 PS version. It's still a peaky motor though. The real punch only kicks in beyond 6,000 RPM. The revised engine now revs to 10,300 RPM, up from the previous 9,700, with the sport mode now nudging the limiter to 10,700 RPM. That extra headroom gives the bike a bit more top-end flair, while still retaining the approachable nature that made the NS400Z easy to ride in the first place. It's more urgent when you want it to be, without becoming intimidating. That said, I do wish the next update finds a bit more zest in the 4,000 to 6,000 RPM range, where the bike still feels a little flat or well-mannered when you're not wringing its neck. A bit too well-mannered, I would say, for a Pulsar. Bi-directional quick shifter at this price point, I think that's great news. And it's also a game changer because with Bosch, Bajaj have developed this quick shifter to be without any sensors. So no fancy hardware, which is great news because in our dusty conditions and at this price point, I don't want that quick shifter failing after a few years. Hopefully this won't, because it is a very less complicated system compared to the fancy electronics that we see on some of the other motorcycles. The system only works in sport mode, but when it does, it's surprisingly refined for something at this price point. Yes, I'm genuinely excited about it. Bajaj has managed to deliver a feature that feels far more premium than you would expect at this price point. It's natural, intuitive, and responsive. Whether you're crawling through traffic or gunning it on open roads, clutchless shifts both up and down feel smooth and effortless. It's not perfect though. At higher revs, say around 8,000 RPM and up, clutchless upshifts aren't quite as seamless as the more sophisticated systems. There is a slight pulse between the ratios, but it's only noticeable if you're really hunting for flaws. So yes, I'm nitpicking. The fact that such a system exists here at all and works this well is a testament to Bajaj's ability to stretch a rupee further than most. When we initially reviewed the Pulsar NS400Z, we complained about a spongy brake lever feel, lack of that bite, especially because we've been spoiled by the KTMs from the same stable. And that is where Bajaj has made that significant and meaningful upgrade. You now get sintered pads. These are still Gramicas, but you get sintered pads with the motorcycle. In fact, this is the only Bajaj on sale at the moment which gets sintered brake pads, and that makes a world of a difference. The sintered pads feel wooden at first, but once they warm up after a few hundred meters of riding the bike, they display an improved braking feel, a stronger bite and better feedback as well through the lever. It gives riders additional confidence, particularly when braking from higher speeds or tackling tricky road conditions. Complementing this is the new 150 section Apollo H1 rear tyre and, more importantly, a steel radial up front. The added grip from both the tires is evident immediately, especially in the wet conditions that we rode on. Aggressive cornering should be more fun, and the bike should feel noticeably more stable and predictable even when you're pushing it hard. Unfortunately, we couldn't given the conditions. These changes might seem minor individually, but together they significantly improve the NS400Z's dynamic abilities. To sum it up, the Pulsar NS400 continues to offer excellent value. Sure, the upgrades may not be groundbreaking, but they're targeted, they're meaningful, and all of that really comes together quite nicely to continue making this one of the best buys in the segment. The appeal is high, the equipment is all there, the ride, the handling, the punch from the engine, everything is just perfect for this price point. In fact, it does offer the most power for the money that you're spending in this particular segment. So from that perspective, it's still the best buy in my opinion. The engine refinements, the quick shifter, improved brakes and better tires don't reinvent the NS400Z, but they definitely refresh its appeal. If you are considering a practical, performance-oriented naked bike that handles daily duties and weekend rides with equal enthusiasm, the NS400Z still makes a strong case for itself. It remains a bike that punches above its weight, and now it packs just a bit more punch.